Good evening, everybody. My name is Kestia. Once again, I am back with the topic Youth Matters. As you all know, if some of you were here and watched the live last Sunday, the topic that I spoke about was financial literacy with my guest speaker, Mr. Maiden, and we touched on some very important issues and topics about financial literacy. So I'm just going to give a little bit of what we spoke about last week. So last week, we spoke about financial literacy and the importance of us young people knowing the importance of saving, budgeting, and the one thing we also spoke about was journaling to journal your budget. So when you know you have a lot of spending to do, you write out the make a list of the things that you've written down and make a list of the things you spend every month. You see, okay, let's say in January you spend this and this maybe on food, like your phone bill and different things. You list them down, and that way you see the difference between the spending you've done every month, and you can see how you've been managing your money. And the other things we spoke about was not knowing your needs and knowing your wants, because we as young people, we are easily influenced by what we see online. So Mr. Maiden also touched on ways we can save money wisely and also budget wisely. So without wasting any time, this evening I have another guest speaker with me. Her name is Mrs. Nomsa. She is also a financial expert, advisor. So I'm just going to give a little bit of background about who my guest speaker is before I invite her. So Mrs. Mrs. Nomsa is a financial advisor. She's a financial expert, and she is a professional with she's a professional with more than 30 years in the financial service industry. She helps family in Saskatchewan, Ontario, also in Alberta, and she's also looking to add more province in. She is a wife, a mother, and she works side by side with her husband. So please help me welcome Mrs. Nomsa in my live video today. Good evening, ma'am. Good evening, Mrs. Nomsa. Welcome, welcome. Thanks for joining me this evening, ma'am.
Good evening, Kestia. How are you?
I'm doing great, thanks. And yourself? I hope you're doing great as well.
I'm fine, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for accepting to be here with me and to share what we have to speak about this evening. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
It's my
Okay,
pleasure.
so without wasting any time, like I said earlier on, Mrs. Nomsa is also a financial expert, financial advisor. She has a lot of experience. So as you know, we've been discussing about financial literacy and the importance of financial literacy. It's very important that we as youth, as young people, we know the importance of financial literacy. We know the importance of saving and investing in our money. So the first question that I have for you, Mrs. Nomsa, you can help us young people. What are the reasons why a budget is a very powerful tool? What do you think is a very powerful tool? A budget.
A budget is a very powerful tool because it will help you to know it's a roadmap of your spending. It will
Yes,
guide you where you're going with your
yes,
money because if you just spend your money without budgeting, then you may end up spending more than you have.
Mm.
So, like I
Yeah.
said, it's your roadmap to
Roadmap to
spending your
spending.
money. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. All that's very that's a very good answer. It's very good. And like Mrs. Nomsa said, it's a roadmap to our spending. So having a budget leads you, it teaches you how you're spending your money. So it's like a road, as she said, it's a roadmap to your spending. So the other things that I also want to touch on is that um, like I spoke last week about the literacy online. We just want to spend our money. We don't really, especially many young people in this generation these days, we don't really know how to budget wisely and how to really save. So, what advice can you give to us young people?
When you talk of youth kids here, which age group are you talking about?
The age group that I'm focusing on is from 17 to 22, 23.
Or those ones who are in school basically, and
Yes,
maybe
yeah,
just
yes,
so we are talking basically on their pocket money, not or like the when they have a small job but going to school.
yes, yes, yes. When they have a part-time job and they go into school, or is
Okay.
it yeah, yeah, like that? Yes,
Okay, so your question was how can we advise them on saving that money?
saving money. Yes,
Okay, yeah, saving money. You have to have a reason why you are saving.
yes,
You have to because if you save without knowing why you are saving, then you won't really stick to it. You will not really pay attention to what you are doing, where you are going, what's your goal. So you have to have a reason why you are
why
saving
you're
that money.
saving?
It's
Yeah.
good to save, but then when you're young like that, you have to have set goals of what is the savings about.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of just saving, and then you end up making a withdrawal because that money is not important. It is there's no purpose for that money. So you have to have a purpose why you are saving, and then when that is done, you start again for another purpose, and that's how it starts. When you're young, you just um, focus on what you're saving for,
Mm,
and then when that is achieved, then you start you set another goal and continue doing the same.
yeah, and that's where I was thinking when you were speaking about the goals, I was thinking of having short-term goal financially and a long-term goal financially.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's why I asked which age group are we talking about, because when
Mm-hmm.
you're in school and then you have this part-time job you have, your long-term goals are on the school for now, but then you have money that you are working with. You need to know how that money is going to work for you.
Yes. Yes.
And then as you grow in that, when you're starting from when you're in school and then you finish school and then you start working, if you are doing it well, you already know what to do.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
those short-term goals will actually build into long-term goals with bigger goals now,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
versus wanting to buy maybe a phone
Yes.
and then a laptop and then maybe something for school. And now when you finish school, then you are already on your way to do bigger things because you started small.
Yeah. That's very true. That's true. So, Mrs. Nomsa, what are the three main components of financial literacy? Because this is our main topic. Yeah.
Yeah, financial literacy. The main that what I would consider the main components is terminology,
Yeah.
and then understanding the statements, like even a basic statement that you get
Basic
from the bank,
statement. Yeah.
and then the concept. Because why am I saying terminology? Terminology is huge. It's those things like when you go to the bank. Do you
Mhm.
understand when your banker is telling you, talking about your guaranteed interest in a savings, or when they are talking of a GIC? Do you know what a GIC is? Are you asking
Mm.
questions? And what kind of interest are you getting when they tell you this kind of interest? Are you understanding the type of
The
interest?
terminology. So it's
Even when you're at the part time when you're buying a car or your first car, you get a loan. They tell you variable interest and fixed interest. Do you understand those whatever you are being told?
mm,
So people just agree and sign without asking questions.
questions.
And
Yes.
they leave the bank without asking, or wherever they are doing their finances, their business. So
Mm.
you need to understand what you are, what the other
What they
person
are
is saying,
telling you. Yes.
word by word. So finance is really tricky. You have to understand everything that is said to you. You cannot translate it yourself unless if you know finance.
Finance. Yeah. Yeah. So basically, Mrs. Nomsa is saying you need to know your terminology. And also, the one thing that I said last week was educate yourself. As young people, we need to educate ourselves. And like she said, ask questions. It's okay to ask questions because the more you ask questions, the more you are learning yourself and the more you are educating yourself. You can't just go to the bank. They are telling you, okay, this is the issue with your bank card, and you're just saying yes, nodding your head yes to everything. It might lead you and us as youth, as young people, to making the wrong decision. So that's why Mrs. Num says she's insisting on knowing the importance and knowing your terminology. You need to know what the bank is telling you. You can't just go to at the bank teller and they're just telling you this is the issue with the bank, this is the kind of interest they offer, this is this, and you're just sitting there just saying yes, yes, yes. You need to understand and you need to know. Also, at the same time, educate yourself. It's very important.
Yeah,
Okay, next.
while on that, it's how you said well about terminology, but you also need to understand simple things like your bank statement. Do you understand
Yeah.
every transaction that is on there, what it means?
Mm,
Because you may know, you need to know when money is taken, what was it for, what is the explanation for that withdrawal or for that,
mm,
and then you also need to understand the concepts.
yes.
So, and when you said educate yourself, I like that, but you need to ask questions so that you start learning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you ask questions, you're also learning. Yeah.
Some
Ask
people are
questions.
shy to ask because they don't want to be perceived like they don't
They
know.
don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but you do not know what you do not know. So you
Mhm.
ask questions so that you start learning.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
Like I said, it's okay to ask questions. When you ask questions, it doesn't mean you don't know anything. It's for your own good. It's for your own good. When you're asking questions, it's for your own good. So ask questions. It's very important. Yes.
I
And
agree.
yeah. Um. So, Mrs. Nomsa, what is the fin? I won't say financial principle because I feel like it's the same as what I just asked earlier on the components. So I think I will just say, how can someone who's now a young adult, maybe from the age of 20, and then yes, they are a student, they go to university, and then they have a part-time job. So when do you think they can be financially stable? I know it depends. It depends on the situation. Sometimes it depends on, maybe, I don't know if I can say, your salary. So when can we be financially stable? From the age of 20, when you reach that young adult stage, when can we be when what and what when do you think?
To help you there, it's not an event where you just say I'm there. It's a journey.
A
So
roadmap? Yeah.
it starts from when you are 20 to in the future,
Yes.
because financial stability, it's about you in control of your debt and your investments, and then in such a way that you end up with more money in your assets, more assets than your liability. Well, like liability meaning
Liability.
what you owe. So when you are young, when you are 20, you can equip yourself, start learning, equip yourself in preparation for the journey. Because getting financially stable is not an event that will just happen overnight. You have to work, to be working.
There are steps
The
to
journey,
it.
there are stages. So when you finish school, then you find a job. Then when you find a job, you have responsibilities. Responsibilities of starting to pay back the student loans, and then the responsibility of maybe you want to get married, and maybe you want to start a family, and maybe you want to buy a house and buy your first car. All those responsibilities, they are yours. And then the other responsibility as well is for you to start saving money. And they happen at the same time from day one. When you get your job, that's when you start both the responsibility of paying the bills of your life,
Mm.
and the responsibilities of preparing for financial stability in the
Stability.
future.
Yeah.
So that happens when you start, and then knowing that you don't have a lot of money when you are coming from university, you
University.
actually
Yeah.
have debt. So what you need to do is you need now to start learning how to save, and that's what we teach. And then
Mm.
there are life stages. It doesn't happen just like you are going to be financially stable in 6 months. No,
No.
it's a journey.
There
It's
are
a life journey.
stages. Yeah.
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 So you're going to be working on different things, starting from paying your life bills or responsibilities, and then while saving money, there will come a time when your children are grown up. They are leaving your home, and then we were teaching you, if you were with me, I would have shown you what you should have done, that such that by the time your children are leaving your home, you are debt free. That's when the stability comes, because is when you are, while you are looking after your family, everything, you might need to borrow money here and there, but you need to be responsible in that. So it's
Mm.
a journey, like I said, you can't just
Mm.
arrive. You have to work on it, and that's what
You have to
I
work
can
on it.
guide
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's very. That's very. Very good. A good advice. Being financial stable, it doesn't happen overnight. You have to work your way through to get to to get where you want to be financially. Like Mrs. Nomsa said, there are stages to it. So you cannot just wake up and then, no, you have to, there are stairs, there are stages that you have to go through to be financially stable. Thank you
Yeah,
so much,
and
Mrs.
you know,
Nomsa.
yeah, it's okay to be in debt. Like you have to have your mortgage, you have to have a car loan. It's okay, but you need to be responsible with those, because you
Comfortable.
might not have enough money to say you are stable, because you are still building.
Yes.
And then the stability comes later in life, but we aim that it comes sooner when you do the right things with your finances.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also the one thing that I also wanted to ask you is keeping good credit scores.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, and that's another topic, because what I see and
mm,
what I hear is in my line of work, I hear
yes.
people saying, especially new people to Canada,
Mm,
they come, and me included. When I was new, I also thought I needed more than one credit card to build my credit.
mm,
People, there is this myth. It's not a truth. It's a myth, that it's a misguiding that you need credit cards for every organization, every store, every bank, every to build your credit. But it's not true. You only need one credit card.
one credit card,
And
yes.
then you have one credit card, you have one line of credit, one loan, which you pay well, and that will build your credit.
Mm.
But if you have
Because
so many and then start
yeah,
making minimum payments, it's going to ruin your credit.
yeah, yeah.
So to have good credit, to answer your question, you should have you should pay your credit, or your loans on time. If there's a you don't pay minimum payment on credit cards, you pay to finish and then start borrowing again. The good thing is to clear your card every month and then use it again.
Mm.
And if you can't have the habit of wanting to to spend more on credit card than what is in your account every month.
Yeah, yeah.
Sometimes we do it when, say, you are buying a ticket to travel to Zimbabwe because there's a funeral, a death in the family, then I buy a ticket for 5,000, and then I pay in bits and pieces. But then that is a one-time off thing that I should do once in a while,
Mm.
not doing it all the time,
All the
because
time, continually. Yeah.
you need to spend money in your credit that you have in your checking account, so that by the end of the month you pay that you pay back within 2 weeks of purchase,
Mm-hmm.
because you are trying to build your credit, you are not trying to ruin it.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
the good thing is to buy what you afford with your cash, but using your credit card so that you build your credit. Because on the other hand, if you
Yeah.
continue using your cash, you don't
Mm.
build credit. You have to use a credit product so that you can actually create good
Create
credit
good credit
to
scores.
show that you can borrow and pay back.
Mm-hmm.
So it's okay to have a credit card, but use it when you have money to pay back
Back. Yeah. But
instead of relying on the credit card.
why do you think, because I know there are many people, they have like four different credit cards. Like you were just telling me right now, you don't need to have a lot of credit cards. You only need one. But then you find a lot of people, they have like three credit cards with them, four credit cards. Why do you think they choose to have so many credit cards when you can have one? Having one credit card can also help you.
Several reasons. One main two reasons that I can discuss with you today is the first one is many people are living from paycheck to paycheck, and that money is not enough.
Oh, okay.
And then
Okay.
they have to subsidize with credit.
Oh, okay.
And then the second thing is some people don't know how to use those credit cards. So some actually think it's money for them.
Hmm.
That's why they max them out and then look for another one. Because it goes back to what I was explaining, that you need to understand the terminology and the concepts.
Of
Sometimes
finance.
someone gets that credit card and it's not explained well how to use it.
Yes.
So it's not really their fault. And then they go to the next one and the next one and the next one. But if it's explained upfront how to use it and how it will impact you if you don't use it well, many people would decide not to take that credit card anyway,
Mm-hmm.
if
Mm.
they know the pros and cons of that credit card. If
Yeah.
it's all laid out to them upfront before they take it, they might not take it after all. But the other reason is because people have no other means of money. Like now, recently, when the COVID came, many people lost their jobs.
Yes. Yes.
They started getting the government subsidy, but it was
Mhm.
not enough.
Yeah.
So they would go back to use their line of credit, their credit card. It's not their fault, but they have to leave, right?
Mm.
So
Also, one thing I also want to, with now that it's COVID and a lot of people have lost their jobs and everything, I'm now speaking in general, not just like focusing on youth. Yes, some youth too have lost their jobs and everything, but this is now a general question that I'm asking. A lot of people have lost their jobs, so now with the government subsidy, it's not enough for a lot of families, for a lot of the children, because not every family have like two kids. Some families have like six kids, some families have
yes.
like five children, and sometimes with this government subsidy it might not be enough. And knowing or finding out that some of the parents and some of the kids too, the students have lost their job, so what can they do to have money? Are there any like financial support programs or anything that they can do to get the money that can help them with the families and the kids?
That question is something that I cannot really, because it's like a government question.
Yes.
But individuals, what can I mean to find for them to find money? I mean organizations to give them money, but what individuals can do, they
Mm,
can actually find ways of not relying on the job.
Okay.
which is I'm now referring to find business opportunities that they can actually work
And
with their
work
own self,
with,
that
yeah.
actually frees them up from that thinking they are secure, they have security in their jobs or the government subsidies, but
Mm,
then moving to something they can control. Like if you are in your, like I work for myself, I used to wait to have a job as well, but I was laid off, and I
yeah.
was forced to find something that where I will not be laid off.
Mm, mm, mm.
That is a business where no one can lay me off. I can lay off myself if I don't really work hard to succeed, but no one can actually lay me off. So we are saying people should, uh, if you can't have a job, find somewhere where you can find a business, because there are a lot of businesses out there that can you can start with very
You
little
can
money.
start with, yeah.
Yeah, it's not every business out there that requires a lot of capital. So if we have to talk to people one on one, that's when we can guide them on which of these businesses we are talking about.
Hmm. Thank you so much, Mrs. Nomsa. And I think, yeah, that's all the questions I have for you this evening. So right now, I'm just gonna summarize for the rest of our viewers who came on. So, as you know, we've been speaking on financial literacy. So today we just carried on talking on that, and we've also touched again on financials, keeping good credit scores. Like Mrs. Nomsa was saying, you don't need to have four credit cards to keep good credit scores. But some people, they have more than one credit card because of, you know, maybe the money that they have is not enough, and for some personal issues. But you can have one credit card. All you have to do is you have to know how to use it and be responsible as well. And like she said, having a budget is a roadmap to your to investing. So you need to budget. We all need to budget. And the one thing she also mentioned was, we also spoke about was, financial stability. It's not something that you just wake up and it happens. It's also, there are stages to becoming financially stable. So thank you very much, Mrs. Nomsa, for tuning in and for sharing good advices, for letting us know on the importance of financial literacy. Really appreciate you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. It was my pleasure.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Yeah. So, like we were talking about financial literacy, as young people, it's very important to know the importance of financial literacy. So, we are done for this evening because we stayed since last week Sunday. So next week we're gonna close up on this topic. I will come back again, and I will have a guest speaker. Mr. Median will come back again, and we just gonna um, finish up with this topic, and then we have more other topics to talk about. So if you have a topic, feel free to message us on our page, or feel free to send me your topic, and we will make it more interesting for you, more engaging for you, because we are all here to learn. At the same time, I'm also learning. I am also learning, even though I'm asking a lot of questions. At the same time, I'm also learning. So, thank you guys. Thanks to everybody for joining, for tuning in. We will come back next week, Sunday, same time, 7 p.m. Youth Matters with Kestia Mwamba. Thank you all, and have a blessed and productive week ahead. Bye.